as Gen Z is becoming a greater part of this workforce, it is imperative that companies also respond to values at large. Is the company supporting different initiatives that are for the greater good of the earth, are for the greater good of the town that you're in, the collective people that are within you? Is there volunteer time that's put in? Transparency is going to be key as to where your company is being supported and where you are doing the supporting. Hello, and welcome to another solo episode of the Coherent Collective podcast. I am your host, Joanna Rosenthal. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about a common theme that I encounter really regularly, not only in personal life, but in the corporate experiences that I have had basically every single day. So I want to ask you, how often do you ask somebody how they're doing and they say pretty robotically and automatically, good? And you can sense that there is a layer to that that isn't good or is just kind of disconnected from the intention behind genuinely wanting to know how somebody is doing. When I was working as an employee in the corporate world on the regular, I would hear that response and sense very distinctively, oh my God, distinctly a huge difference. I could genuinely recall maybe a super small percent of people who were authentically saying that they were good and meaning that they were good. Most of the time, people who respond, who are working in this sort of environment, have a lot to complain about. Whether it is not being happy in the job for whatever reason, being paid nominally, not getting their title that they feel like they deserve, something like a teammate being a personal burden or a trigger to them, or, the company perks not being up to par with what they need in that moment, right? But what I find very interesting, because I was doing a lot of digging in the past few years, is that there is a significant increase in wellness programs, but a significant decrease in two things: the use of the wellness programs that are being implemented in the corporate world, and also companies, or should I say employee satisfaction. So, why is this? Where is this gap really coming from? I'm going to leave you with a few things, but before I do that, I want you to please like, comment, subscribe, support, do the whole shebang, because I am really trying to get this to resonate with as many people as possible. But I also want to be able to help as many people as possible. So if you are interested in the work that I offer, or you're curious about more of this sort of coaching that and consulting that I do, go ahead and check out www.businessthatbreathes.com. All right, now back to business. So the few things that I want to leave you with today is, if you are someone who is doing the complaining, first and foremost, we are not our emotions. We are an observer of our emotions, but the pain that we can feel equally is very valid, right? Whether it's physical pain or emotional pain or an environmental pain, or you see something that is creating some sort of trigger. But believe this, you can quickly, with a decision, change your observations and change your perspective and change your trigger, right? Change the emotion that's around it. So what does that mean? That you are way more in control of how you receive something that is going on and what you decide to do as a result of that than you probably let on. And you can liken that to the gift of meditating and being present, but we are supposed to experience and move through experiences, right? And we're supposed to experience and move through emotions and feel the feels. And the more that we become resistant to the feelings that we feel, the harder it is for us to go to the next lesson or experience something that maybe is of greater service to us, right? So hear me out. When we hold on and harbor resentment versus honoring the resentment that we might feel or the trigger that we might feel and why we're feeling those things, and we ask ourselves bigger questions or different questions than creating the automatic blame, like, what can I do in this moment? Automatically, you are giving yourself more autonomy than you even realize. Now, you might feel stuck, and rightfully so, because sometimes we don't believe that we have many choices in a moment, right? In a career path, in a job, because it is a scarier decision to do something different than it is to be where you are. However, understand that that is also a choice, right? So we can handle things differently, but the gift of communication, number two, is also very key in this moment. When we take ourselves out of victimhood and move into victorhood, how do we do this? We honor the fact that because we are not our emotions, we are an observer of our emotions. So, what we do is we note what we are feeling as a result of something that is a moment of challenge or a moment of adversity. So, instead of saying, I feel they are doing that, pause. That's not a feeling, that's a belief. I feel frustrated when voices are raised or when somebody says something in this manner because my responsibilities feel threatened. My integrity is being challenged. And as a result of that, the consequences to that is that I I want to keep my job secure because there's a lot of other things that go on. If there's a lot of things that you feel like you can't do because you've tried to communicate those things, find in these moments the places that you can breathe so you're not being so reactive in those states and just count on your fingers. I know it's might sound silly. This is not revolutionary, this information, but count on your fingers things that you're grateful for and because you have this job or something, right? Like, it's giving me the opportunity to have a roof over my head. It's giving me the opportunity to feed myself. It's giving me the opportunity to meet new people. I don't know, connect, right? When you recognize that your basic needs are being met and that you have more autonomy over the choices that you are making because you're asking yourself different questions, then we can start really looking at the ownership that we have within ourselves. Because why the gap of the wellness opportunities that are in the company and why employee dissatisfaction is at an all-time low is has a lot to do with personal ownership of the environment itself. And if we can start taking personal ownership, number one, and then becoming more transparent, number two, and then we can exercise our pain points in a more transparent and safe environment, there can become more um, connection. And after the connection is starting to be built, there is a better and more apt opportunity for everybody to work in a more cohesive manner for the company at large. You might not necessarily love what you do, but if you love the people or you can respect the people that you work for, other things tend to feel easier on the mind or on the body. And you can desire more, right? That's the ego serving its purpose. But once we do all of those things and navigate that path and put those to rest, often the usage of the wellness programs start to come into play. However, as Gen Z is becoming a greater part of this workforce, it is imperative that companies also respond to values at large. Is the company supporting different initiatives that are for the greater good of the earth, are for the greater good of the town that you're in, the collective people that are within you? Are you creating more opportunity to give back? Is there volunteer time that's put in, team building time that's put in? Transparency is going to be key as to where your company is being supported and where you are doing the supporting. Okay. That also goes without question to Gen Alpha. And if you want your company to be something that is more sustainable and retains employees down the pipe, that is going to be key. But first and foremost, please focus on personal reflection, recognizing that you are not your emotions, reformulating how you state those belief systems versus emotions when you are having conversations that are moving through challenges. Do not avoid that, because I guarantee you, if you start looking for another job off the cuff and you don't acknowledge the frustrations that you're feeling, or don't try to move through conflict resolution in that sort of manner, you're going to find this lesson somewhere else. So it's not a matter of avoidance. It's a matter of being able to move through conflict resolution, because you need to feel safe in your body in order to connect with people. And connection in your company is the king. If you can believe in your employees, every employee has a voice no matter where they are in terms of their title, and they are valued and heard and respected and their needs are met. I'm telling you, you're going to set yourself up for far more success, because wellness programs are looking at the employee as the issue, but the employee is not the environmental issue. And they might play a part, but the usage of wellness programs is going to come when the environment of the company and the infrastructure of the company is built on really solid foundation. So you want to get ahead of this. And anyway, that's where I leave you. And I will see you in the next episode.